Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?
Who am I, you ask? I was created in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by the waste of a dying world. I was bestowed with an insurmountable task: bring peace after decades of death, persecution, and chaos. I am a grandchild of war, destined to help two camps which hate has fueled for far too long. Surprisingly, I am not alone. Have an odd bunch to make the road a little more bearable. Come with me, to bring hope where there was despair, respect where there was resentment, creativity where there was destruction. I am Pinocchio, and this is my story.
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they have just, I mean, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
I like these calm little moments before the storm.
Money comes big. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not small. No, no, no.
Kiss my entire.
Oh, my darling, knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me.
Your coffee, sir.
Thanks, beautiful.
You're welcome.
This is a man's world.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your old friend, the doctor. Glad to see everybody hanging out in the chat. Good to see you. Tell me how you're doing out there. Let me hear from you. Abo Grizz in the house. Tanner, of course, is here. How Dear is here. Good to see you. Who else we got hanging out here? Shadowhawk is here. There's a troll present. And we got about 20 other people watching right now that are not commenting. But it's good to have you along for the ride. Hey, you're watching the show that won't rust, bust, collect dust, kink, stink, turn pink, or rattle them. It seems a rainy season for 90 days or your money gladly refunded. We're glad to have you. Got a good show today. My co-host, my partner, is back after a 2-week hiatus. Never letting him have that much time off again. The place fell apart when he wasn't here. So Tanner's back. And looking forward to diving into some juicy content. Now, I'm gonna comment on this. I have to. So first we had that Bobby over in England talking about he was going to come and get Americans for their social media posts. And we were like, say when. But then that EU commission sent Elon Musk a letter telling him, you better not blah, 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 or else. And Elon Musk was like, I'm your Huckleberry. So to my UK friends, you are loved and you are welcome here. But now you're kind of starting to see what a world without a First Amendment looks like. And that's a horrible thing for anybody. Free speech is everything. If you're not allowed to speak your mind or say uncomfortable things to people, then you're only participating in state-sponsored speech. And that's always a very, very bad thing. And let me bring this guy out.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Gordon Shumway, nice to meet you. Interested in a new Buick?
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
I'll make you famous.
I'll make you famous.
Yes, indeed, you do.
Oh, it's great to be back.
It's good to have you, my friend. You were missed.
I missed you guys.
I may have gone a little too hard last week, Tanner. I didn't have your moderating influence here with me. And I went a little off the chain. But at the same time, yeah, what are they going to do? Arrest me? You know.
I mean, you're absolutely right. You know, it's free speech. It's the cornerstone of what this country was founded on. And, you know, if you don't like it, then turn it off. Watch something else.
Yeah.
You know, I'm reminded of, you know, how this influenced comics. I remember, I think it was like Heather Antos or one of those type people. You know, went on talking about their comic book and was like, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. So everyone said, I'll be your Huckleberry. And they stopped buying her book.
Everybody said, all right, bet.
You know?
But here's a full disclaimer for you, boys and girls. This show is not a safe space. You might get your feelings hurt. But please be mindful of the fact that I only speak for me because, again, I'm a fucking American. I say what the hell I want, when I want, where I want, but I only speak for me, and you don't have to listen. But if you're on the left, and especially if you're a little soy-based low-T life form, I encourage you to hang out, because by osmosis, you will learn something. You might develop a little more testosterone, a little more of that 1776. You might get a little spirit up in your ass that you might need. Just saying. That's the disclaimer. If you're not cool with that, you might want to, what is that song by Extreme? If you don't like what you see here, get the funk out. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Hey, Gable, what's up, buddy?
Abo hailing from the state that literally defined, fuck around and find out.
Exactly right. I love that that guy that does the little shorts on YouTube. He's a politician in his state. He's a state legislator, ultra based, and he goes responding to that same thing. He goes, just a friendly reminder, we've got your king on our state flag, and of course their state flag has a patriot with his foot on the king laying on the ground from the state that literally introduced you to fuck around and find out. So let's bring this other guy out here.
Won't you get in trouble if the boss shows up?
Oh no, it's the boss here? Hey, wait, I'm the boss.
Hey.
Hold up.
What's up, Pops?
I want to show you something, Doc.
Show me.
Look at that.
Yes, indeedy.
Very nice.
Is that beautiful or what?
It is.
There's Madness merch, people.
And where can people find that merch?
I just dropped that link. I just dropped it.
I like the link, is what I'm saying.
Go. You got some coffee cups, tumblers, different.
You know I'm gonna have to get a cup. How come I got to pay to get a coffee cup? Damn it! I put one of the wheels on this wagon.
Because I don't have somebody next door making them for me. You want me to buy one and have them ship it to you, Doc?
Well, actually, if you dig into it, you'll find out that, yeah, they were winning until we finally got France to come on board. And they lost. Just that simple. Cornwallis said, no más, por favor. So here's the thing, you guys. I think I've made myself fairly clear. I'm confused. Said you were live. Shows you are not. Wait, what? I am live.
Yeah,
am I
live.
Am I not?
It looks live to me. I don't know. Now I'm confused.
I feel alive.
I haven't been on live yet, but we'll get there.
Every day's closer.
Yep.
What is that line? There's a song. Pull Me Under. What's that band? Pull me under, I'm not afraid.
Who is that band? I don't know.
Somebody help me out in the chat. What's that song? Anyway, damn, now lyrics are going through my head. Totally derailing me. That part of my brain that I used to use for my clinical work is now occupied with song lyrics. And they just come spewing out at the most unfortunate moments. Anyway, what I was going to say was this. I'm not saying go be overly political in your everyday life. Dream Theater, thank you, Gable. But this is literally the most important election of your life coming up. And I just want to know, I want to ask, and I'm waiting for the answer because I've asked it to even my liberal friends. What part of the last 3.5 years do you want more of?
Yeah.
I seriously want to know that.
Yeah, me too.
Please tell me.
What part were you enjoying?
What part of this was good for you? Now, I'm not going to pretend for a moment that I think anybody can just snap their fingers and fix it. But at the same time, when Obama said, what's he going to do? Don't get it wee-weed up. He's going to wave a magic wand and fix it. Well, he waved a fucking magic wand and fixed it. Our GDP skyrocketed. Unemployment bottomed out. It was wonderful. So maybe we'll see that again, because a large part of it, I don't know if you realize this or not, but a large part of the economy is all about psychology and confidence. Do you feel confident? Yeah, exactly. They won't answer honestly, because even if they feel it, they don't want to admit it. You're correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the tire's flat. Don't keep driving. Pull over. Change the tire.
Right.
Google
That's
now.
crazy.
Google now has twice whoopsied. They said it was a glitch both times. First time was, if you looked up Trump rally, it pointed to Kamala. DuckDuckGo and Bing didn't do that, but Google did. Whoopsie, our bad, sorry. And then 2 days later, they fixed it. So that was free advertising for Kamala on behalf of the largest search engine in the world. And then this most recent one, the Kamala team, send it to your emails, Af.
Pastmaster, I feel like you really hit it on the nail on top of the head with that statement.
Yeah. He says Republicans run America as a corporation, as Dems run it like a charity. And I'm going to circle back to that, to Psaki it for a moment. But
this last few years, all the Congress have been running it like a charity. Let's just give away millions. Wait, we got to print it first.
So
yeah, there's consequences to those actions. You know?
Yeah, yes. And here's the thing: when Trump wins, and he's going to win, don't let these fake polls. Oh, the other Google thing. While I'm at it, Google's other whoopsie was Kamala paid for some ads that were posing as articles on the AP and Reuters, and they weren't. They were ads, but they forgot to put paid endorsement on them. And Google again went, oh, mea culpa, sorry about that. I just made it look like there were articles praising the economy. Praising this economy.
She went out and said some cops endorsed her too. They didn't.
You are
she's
correct.
been paying influencers.
You are
and then when
correct.
she got caught paying influencers to do TikTok videos and stuff for her, she turned around and started sending out the email with an NDA.
Yes, there is literally a antitrust lawsuit against Google right now as being a monopoly, and they're acting like a monopoly. And yes, they are being sued. Washington paid them per diem so they couldn't vote to raise their salaries. Yeah,
they're also being sued by Elon as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, put them up. I love Elon's whole attitude about it. What, are you going to threaten me with money? Pfft, I'm Elon Musk, bitches. If he doesn't like you, he just goes, add to cart.
Add to cart.
Buy your company. He put a poll out.
He said, should I buy Facebook?
Yeah,
fix that too?
I was literally about to say that. He just asked, hey, should I buy Facebook too? Yes, please.
Well, if you look at the lawsuit that he's currently doing with Google and YouTube, it's mainly targeted towards YouTube, but owned by Google. The restitution alone would put the company under.
Now, Knight is here. I don't know who you are. Knight is here, but welcome. Glad to have you. Is absolutely right. Politics is downstream from culture.
Come here, Rob.
And right now, we have entire generations, plural, cohort groups that have been indoctrinated to hate everything America is without ever having experienced the world outside of America. Hey, what's up, Zaf? Welcome.
What's going on?
You cannot possibly imagine how great this nation is, both historically and currently, until you experience the world without her.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a good example. Now, I did not serve in Bosnia during that conflict. What's up, Rocky? I see you hiding back there.
He hides under the bed now, dude. He just crawls under the bed now.
I didn't serve during Bosnia, but when I was in college, there was a Bosnian immigrant, a real asylum seeker who was granted citizenship, who I was in college with. Now, he wasn't in my program of study. He was in something else. He was in the engineering department or something. But he literally wanted to find every veteran in our class, and he owned a tailor shop and give each one of us a tailored suit.
Oh,
because
wow.
America came to my country and saved me, saved my family. I watched them save my village. We're the only country in the world that somebody else will fuck around, will deliver the find out on your behalf, and then fucking leave. We don't annex your country. We don't own Kuwait. We don't own Iraq. We don't own Afghanistan. We didn't take ownership of Germany or Japan. All right. We liberate and we fucking leave.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to throw out the word occupation.
Yeah.
With us staying there, there's a medal for that, and it hasn't been given out since World War II. So I don't know what people are talking about.
Yeah.
When you're an army of occupation, that's a completely different scenario.
Yeah, we're not colonizing your ass. We didn't add your star to our flag. Yeah, they think wanting bad things for the country makes them a good person. That is exactly right. These are low IQ, low information, low testosterone males. What was it? Tucker Carlson said, weak males and angry women. That's all the left is.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't always that way. The left used to just disagree on economics and a little bit of politics. They have gone so far afield now that I am no longer, and hear me on this, I'll still comment on it because it's culturally relevant, but I'm just not interested in playing to the lowest common denominator anymore. If you can't tell the difference between a man and a woman and you think there is no difference, then you're too fucking low IQ to have a conversation with me. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Hold up. They're making this big deal about the first woman president, but they can't define woman. So any of us could be the first woman president.
Yeah, exactly right. Which leads us smoothly into.
This is not a drill. This is not a drill. General quarters. General quarters. All hands man your battle station.
By the way, that audio clip is from the movie In Harm's Way, but the bosun that you hear making that announcement was a real U.S. Navy bosun.
Nice.
And on the old warships, when they used the 1MC that way with the bugle calls and the gongs, they always went and found the guy with the thickest Southern accent to do it because it's clearly understandable over the microphone. General quarters, all hands, man your battle station. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. So, hey, bam, here we go. Instead of calling them conspiracy theories, we should start to call them spoiler warnings.
100%.
Trading Brandon for Harris is like shitting your pants and changing your shirt. Exactly right. And then this genius, Kamala, goes and, whoever's actually pulling the strings behind Harris and Biden, picks this guy. I retired a command sergeant major. No, you didn't.
No, he didn't.
Okay, but I carried an M16 in combat. No, you didn't.
You didn't.
Yeah, well, it would be cool if I did. Piss off. And I had my liberal buddy's like, I don't understand why you want to attack him for his 24 years of service. I'm not attacking him for his 24 years of service.
Not attacking him for his service.
I'm attacking him for his lying about his service.
I'm attacking him for the last 6 months of his service.
He was a first sergeant who never completed the course requirements for the Sergeant Major's Academy.
So you can get frocked, but that doesn't mean you are going to retire in that
He
rank.
wasn't even frocked.
I was a promotable sergeant first class,
Yeah.
you know, and and I'd got out on
But see, he
medical
knew the
separation.
Right,
You know,
right,
well,
right.
I didn't get
Hold on,
promoted,
Pops.
so I didn't get promoted to master sergeant. I
Right.
stayed a sergeant first class, and that is what is on my ID card. So I'm
Exactly.
not out there telling people I was a master sergeant.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
even though I earned it, you know, in technicality. But
Yeah, look, I'm a veteran. When I didn't serve in combat. This guy, however, is the number 2
So
pick.
I was going to say, I'm not attacking him for 24 years. I'm attacking him for the last 6 months, wherein he got the orders and knew his platoon was being deployed, and his punk ass bailed.
Battalion.
But he bailed on his guys.
Yeah.
That's what
Shadowhawk.
Watch the chat for me, Pops. What we got? This is also the guy who put tampons in the boys' room of public schools in Minnesota. I'm sorry. Let me repeat that in case you didn't hear it. He put tampons in the boys' room of public schools. Hello? Anybody? Jesus Christ.
I want to know who's teaching the boys what to do with these things.
Yeah, I will fix things if you vote me in the office, says the woman currently in office.
Yeah.
See, here's the problem for anybody with a brain. All the things she's promising she will do if she's elected, she's number 2 on the totem pole. Right the fuck now. You'll close the border? Cool, close it now. You'll fix the economy? Cool, fix it now.
She's campaigning against her own administration.
Exactly right. Exactly. And
Hi,
you know,
Brianna. I haven't seen you in ages.
Hi, Brianna. Good to see you again. We've missed you. I asked about you the other day. Sorry, kid.
We still do the Sunday thing, Brianna. I send you the link every week.
Sorry, kid. There's no song to explain this crap. Just saying. All of us here on this panel, by the way, have won more primary votes than Kamala Harris.
No, as many as.
Yeah, the same amount. The same amount.
Yeah.
I'd rather paint my whole house with a Q-tip than watch a full episode of The U. Yes.
What did you hear about that? Apparently, Whoopi and Joy Bear, their contracts aren't getting renewed, from what I hear.
Well, that's a good
next
thing.
Season.
The show's contract should not get renewed.
Well, that was the thing. The rumor was they were going to cancel the show. And so they said instead they're just going to reformat because they're so unlikable. They're just totally detestable human beings. Men can't talk about abortion. Last week you said men could get pregnant.
That's right, Batman. You show them.
Yep. Biden is fine. Back in June. In July, the retarded woman is great. That's the left, and you know it's always gonna be orange man bad. He's racist. You ever seen someone so racist that you won an Ellis Island Award for patriotism, tolerance, brotherhood, and diversity alongside Muhammad Ali and Rosa Parks?
Yeah.
Let me see, who is that? Is that Joe Biden? Is that Obama? Wait, no, that looks like DJT.
My favorite part of all that is all the pictures you've got of Al Sharpton and you know, all these guys shaking Trump's hand as he's giving them money, but then as soon as he ran for president, they all act like they hate him, and it's like, y'all loved him when he was paying.
Yep.
You know.
All right, but let's also don't forget, you know,
who are the fake people though? That's what I'm saying.
Elizabeth Warren, only the government should have guns. A real Indian would know better. That's how we know you're not an Indian. That your DNA test, but you know.
Yeah.
Local carpenter continues to spread disinformation deemed harmful by religious experts. If the media was around back in the day. And of course, here we go to that very point. They, them. I'm voting for Kamala Harris, the first woman president. Me. Cool, cool. So what is a woman? Crickets. You see what I'm saying? And then there's the blatant, over the top, media sponsored hypocrisy. Look at the dates, boys and girls.
Yeah, yeah.
June 17th and August the 12th. Trump says he doesn't want to tax tips. And people are concerned that it'll cost the government $250 billion over 10 years. And then when Kamala says, rolling out a new policy saying she'll fight to end taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. Bam.
Now you have to look at their last policy on taxes and tips.
Well, let me finish. Copying Trump, first of all. But then let's remember Kamala cast the deciding vote to ensure taxation on tips.
Yeah.
So she's running against herself. Always.
That's what I said. She's running against their own administration. She's running against the administration she's part of.
By the way, UK, here's some more disinformation for you to come after me about, except I brought the receipts. In 1977, we were told there was an ice age coming. 2008, we were told it was global warming. It was Time magazine. There's the fucking receipts. But they tell us every time we say this that it's disinformation. No, it's not. You're a liar and your breath smells like mullet. How bad has shit got to be? Oh, well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here.
We are glad you're here.
Glad you're working too. That's cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, how bad things got to be for both of those to be in town, though. I mean, you know.
Yeah, they're there for the Comic-Con.
Trump said he'll end the Department of Education. Good. Let me elucidate a little bit here, boys and girls. Since its inception, every single year, the Federal Department of Education has existed. Graduation rates, literacy rates, and IQ testing has gone down in spite of every year the budget going up.
Yep.
That is what is called a failure, and returning it to the states is exactly the right thing to do.
I think we dropped down the intelligence. We dropped down the intelligence ladder in world every year too.
Yeah, and you know,
like 139th now or some dumb shit.
All you need for evidence of that is go talk to any college graduate who can't even tell you who Thomas Jefferson was, and you'll know. All right. But at the same time, just like with Roe v. Wade being overturned, it doesn't make education illegal. It returns it to the states where it belongs. We have a thing called the 10th Amendment, for those of you who don't know, that says anything in this document not covered is left to the several states. Well, education was never covered. Neither was abortion. It's not constitutional. Rare footage of a liberal who's been exposed to facts. Right there. Some of y'all are wincing right now. It burns us. It burns us.
Like putting a Lorian rope on Gollum.
Yep. Yep.
This is not a drill. This is not a drill. General quarters. General quarters. All hands man your battle station.
My goodness gracious.
Quiet Fire says, "Oh my, what did I walk into?" LOL.
Truth bombing. What's up, Doran?
What's up, Doran? What's happening, brother?
I said at the beginning of the show, Doran, spoiler alert and trigger warning. This is not a safe space. As the most important election of our lives draws closer, I am going to get more vocal because now is not the time to mess around. Every red-blooded patriot in the United States needs to stand up and make your voice heard. Count. Vote. Vote hard. When you go in the voting booth and you vote for Trump, say out loud, "You're fired."
You know, I was thinking about something you said. I was thinking about something that you said backstage. and you said, I've been gone for a few weeks, and I wasn't here to moderate. Well, I don't know if I'm really going to moderate going forward. If you've heard the old saying, cut sling load and dog off leash, that's kind of where I'm going now with everything.
You can only push people so far. And this is not a call to violence.
No.
This is simply saying there's a limit to how far you can push an American. Now, the soy-based left, you can push them around all day long and they'll thank you for it. You can't push a red-blooded patriot American around.
I love a good rebel rouser. And what do I mean by that? It's like, you look at our founding fathers, they were rebels, dressing up as Indians and throwing tea off the Boston Harbor. They started it. Then, you got even cancel culture of the 60s and 70s, change things in comics, change things in literature, change for the better, rebel rousers, Black Panthers, rebel rousers, punk music, rebel rousers, metal, rebel rousers.
With a rebel yell. Listen, here's the thing, kitten. If the soy-based left had been around during the revolution, they wouldn't have gotten motivated by the Boston Tea Party. They would have screamed about cultural appropriation. Just saying.
No, I'm just saying it's the cornerstone of America, I think, and we've lost that. Something's been lost, whether it be indoctrination, whether it be culture war. There's a lot of blame to go around and a lot of fingers to be pointed. However,
I think if we point back though, we lost academia starting in the colleges.
Mm-hmm.
They went not just left, they went woke left, soy left, hate America, Marxist, communist left. They in turn graduated a bunch of teachers who went out into the public school systems and took that disease with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they have begun infecting generations, and it spread out into society. Where they fucked up was when they started messing with our kids. And it started
absolutely.
It started in Florida. But it has spread to every red state where they're saying, "No, fuck you. You're not getting our kids. Sorry."
We miss you too, Brianna.
Brianna, we've missed you.
Hey, Fanta.
Yep.
Fanta, hey.
What's up, Fanta, my darling?
You miss Fanta too, Tanner. You miss Fanta when she
did.
came up. See?
Yep.
Oh, man.
We had Fanta on the show. Wait, I went from hearts to green blocks. I don't even know what that means. Now, again, though, I'm gonna kind of go back into history here just a little bit. My parents campaigned for and voted for Jimmy Carter because Jimmy Carter was the Georgia boy, and they were in Georgia.
Peanut.
And he was a good man and a terrible president. And when he wrecked our national defense, our world standing, lost our deterrence, and trashed the economy, my parents said, well, that's enough of that, because back then you shifted to who had better policies.
Mm-hmm.
And when Ronald Reagan said, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? People answered that question, and they voted in a landslide for Reagan. Right?
Now, didn't he originally run as a Democrat?
No. When he was a governor, before he became governor of California, he was a Democrat. But he took a long, hard look at that and went, yeah, no, it's not for me. They even asked Reagan one time, do you ever acknowledge that maybe you could be at fault for something? He goes, well, yes, once upon a time I was a Democrat and I sucked. But listen, engage in these kitchen table discussions with your family. that hard-headed relative that just says, Trump is so racist, so evil. I just can't believe you would vote for him. Do you want 4 more years of this? Can you afford 4 more years of this? Wonder if 4 years is enough to turn anything, as they say, big ships turn slow. Well, we did it under Reagan. Carter put us in as bad a place as Obama did. Trump came in and changed it around. Carter trashed everything. Reagan fixed it. By his second year, things were on an upswing. So, yeah, it can be fixed. The American economy is robust and strong, but if you put a chain on it, it can't grow. And that's all the left ever does is they chain it.
Look, past Master Dan.
Yeah, it did.
The 70s weren't that bad if you were a teenager.
It was a great time to be a kid.
It was a great time. Yeah.
It wasn't cool to be an adult, maybe, but it was pretty cool to be a kid in the 70s. Of course, I jumped, straight to adulthood anyway, but the 70s was fun, man. We had Star Wars. We had all kind of shit in the 70s.
But as Pops and I are old enough to have been cognitive of the difference, God dang, the 80s rocked.
Yeah, 80s were fun too. At least the part I didn't spend in prison.
As a child of the 80s and 90s, I have to, heartfelt, agree.
Yeah.
The 80s did rock.
Again, culture and government. We were strong on the world stage again. The economy was booming. The best movies, the best music, the worst fashion.
Fashion was pretty bad. It was
I'll say this. One thing the 80s had going for them was the girls back then had to get a running start to get into those jeans. That was just the style. The green cubes of respect. In the chat, I want you to put a 1 if you can afford 4 more years of what you've had for the last 3.5 years, and a 2 if you can't. Informal poll.
Oh, Fanta, preach it.
4 more years. Put a 1. If you can't afford 4 more years, put a 2 in the chat. I want to know. A -3 says Fanta. I don't know anybody that can afford it. I mean,
so that's just it. And they're separating the rich and the poor and eliminating the middle class. The rich are getting richer. Middle class people are becoming poor people, and poor people are getting poorer. They're trying to make it too classy.
Yes. Now, Brianna is allowed to feel un-American since she is, in fact, not an American.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Somebody said the other day they were on their way to Jersey and they stopped in McDonald's and it was $17 for a freaking quarter pounder meal.
Dude, I went to Taco Bell and got value boxes for us a couple of weeks ago, and it took damn near $50 out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what happened here?
Yeah. They're milking it. I think the fast food are milking it because you can go to Applebee's and feed your family for the same amount of money that it takes to go to McDonald's.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, those places like Applebee's and Chili's, it's just fast food with silverware. That's all it is. But here's the thing. I can't afford, I have to now choose between my medicine and food for the house. Doran says, what I don't understand as a Canadian, your economy is killing our dollar. Why are people suffering? But that is the same in Canada. Because our inflation is so high right now.
Dynamics, bro.
You have to, according to the most recent data, hear me when I say this, boys and girls, you have to be making an additional $11,000 a year to keep up with inflation. I didn't get an $11,000 raise.
Let me just point out to Dorian also the Canadian economy when they shut down the Keystone Pipeline, it hurt you guys just as much as it hurt us.
Yep. Now, Doran, I would just say that Trudeau is daily contemplating on whether or not to grow the little mustache or not. You got to get rid of that guy. I mean, he's been as bad for y'all as Obama and Biden were for us. And people, never mind. I ain't even going there. Almost went to a bad place. Hey, Pops. Play a couple of trailers for some friends of ours while I refresh my coffee.
Okay, friends trailers. What do we got? We got this one. Check this out, people.
And we're back.
Man, I'm gone for 2 weeks and there's new trailers. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
man.
I like it.
I got another new one. I just didn't want to play 3 in a row, but Dime Store Detective #4 launched last night. John Dexter.
Oh man, nice.
That other noir book that we like, you know.
Yep. We will get to them. Listen, some of these trailers are so entertaining to watch that I could just watch a whole stream of nothing but those trailers.
Almost have enough to make a whole stream of trailers.
I know, right? There's a lot of good books out there by a lot of good people. Just know this, boys and girls. I need everybody praying for me that I win the lottery because I will fully fund your every endeavor. Win-win.
Preach it. I'm telling you, I was listening to Robservations on the way home, you know, traveling 14 hours, you know. So I listened to a lot of podcasts and everything.
You drove?
I drove, yeah.
Oh, sweet Lord, have mercy.
Yeah. Well, and it set me back too because you know, there's a little adventure. You know, I ended up having a glitch, you know, somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Ohio, and so I ended up I was supposed to come straight down into Atlanta and then hit home, you know, but for some strange odd reason, it took me all the way across Ohio, which set me back like an hour and a half, somewhere in between there. And then I went through West Virginia and Virginia and you know, and all that stuff. But,
how did you miss I-75? Come on now. It's a straight shot.
It was a straight shot. And then, like I said, my GPS just screwed up, and then I turned it back on and it rerouted me, and I didn't even notice, you know, but I did notice I was in Ohio for a really long time. You know?
Something tells me we're on the wrong trip. Yeah,
you know, when I hit the mountains, you know, of West Virginia, I was like, oh shit.
You went yow, yow, when it was just yow.
Like
literally the only turn you got to make is in Macon, Georgia. That's the only turn you had to make.
Well, you know, it messed up because like the one there was the glitch, and then it happened when it was trying to tell me that my route was affected by the floods in Chatham County in Savannah. And I was like, well, that's no big deal. I'm not worried. I'll just go around Savannah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It glitched or whatever. And yeah, Pathmaster. Not on purpose. Not on purpose.
A map will never lie to you.
It won't. It won't. You know, and I do. I miss some of the good old days. It was funny, you know, I was talking with family and friends, and you know, you talk about like, you know, political like military strikes and things like that, where they're talking about, you know, if EMP went off in America, it would set us back to the 60s. And me and my dad just kind of laughed because he's like, the 60s weren't that bad. You know, he's like, I grew up in the 60s. I could do that. You know,
the 60s was not a bed of roses.
It wasn't a bed of roses, but I mean, people act like it'd be the death of America, and it's like, well, there are people that lived through the 60s, 60s, 70s, whatever, you know,
40s, 50s, 60s,
40s, 50s, you know, we did it, you know, and we overcame, we thrived, you know, so it's like, it cracks me up when people are saying, you know, oh yeah, it'll destroy our technology, you know, it's like, well, we'll survive. It'll be okay.
Yes, that's a true story. And speaking of which, you know, they talk about the impact an EMP would have, blah, 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 blah. It's, it harkens back to this choice that Kamala made for her vice president. There's a recording of him talking about, you know how you see on the map all that red all over America? Well, the only parts that matter are those little blue parts. The rest of it's just rocks and potatoes. Rocks and potatoes. That's what Kamala's VP thinks of you, boys and girls. Okay, Pops has an interesting chat going on.
I do.
I got to mute you.
I
just muted it.
Anybody who may have seen a post that says that Pop had a stroke last night may be slightly exaggerated.
Yeah. Exactly. But what I was going to say is,
I welcome an EMP.
Yeah, Knight is right. I was just going to say, rocks and potato guys will survive just fine. We know how to find food, hunt food, grow food. You know, I just wouldn't be podcasting. That's the only difference.
Yeah. Well, we'll just take it back old school. You know, it'd be you and me on the radio waves, man. It'd be great.
Yeah. Get on the short wave. Yeah, Abbo says
life will carry on.
Life finds a way. That's weird. That's what I think about the Democrats. Rocks and potatoes. Yeah, Shadowhawk would survive. But you know, it's always going to be culture is downstream or upstream, I suppose you should say, from politics. And it started off, and several people have commented on this, and I'm not going to pick any particular part of it, but let's just say the weirdness. If you think of the weirdest part of the left, all right, the drag show, tranny, whatever, that weirdest part started off, can't you just, you know, tolerate us? That's all we want. Okay, fine. We tolerate you. Can you accept us? Sure, we accept you. And now it's, you will bow down to us. Well, no, Scooter, now you've pushed too far. No. See?
That's not how it works. You know, respect is a very interesting thing, and I think we've lost the intention of what it means to be respectful to one another.
Correct. You know, I will always be as kind to people as they allow me to be, but I can never find common ground with you if you try to hypersexualize children, if you want to murder babies up to the moment of their birth. No, I can't find common ground with you.
And in those instances, I think it's important to agree to disagree in those cases, because people are going to have a different view, and I think that's what makes our country great. However, like you said, there is a line that if crossed, it's a very slippery slope. Murdering babies and such.
Yeah, if you try to take my guns away, we got no common ground. You want to murder babies, no common ground. If you try to turn my military into a soy-based organism that presents deterrence to no one, you're inviting war. We don't have common ground.
Well, and I see that. I call my son, every couple weeks, give or take. And he's currently serving as a medic in the United States Army, and I'm proud of him. I'm super proud of him. But he just tells me little things about his leadership, and I'm like, well, why aren't they doing this or why aren't they doing that? And it's I call it leadership, but I say that with air quotes because they're not being leaders. They're not taking care of their soldiers. They're not creating a good stew, as it says in the Army Study Guide from the history of like the Blue Book and stuff like that. And a stew, which oddly enough, and when I was studying for the board to become an NCO, I thought it meant how to make a good soup. And it made my first sergeant laugh because he was like, "No, a stew was a good soldier, not a soup."
Knight wants to know, how old are you, Tanner?
I am 44.
He's a very young 50. Y'all excuse me, the hay fever's getting me.
So I don't. You take that for what you will. Night, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I do feel like I'm aging like milk, though. Bags under my eyes, and
nobody ever says that to me and Pops. Tanner, come on.
Well, I'm gonna be 61 in a couple of weeks.
Pronoun training in the Navy does not make the Navy more lethal.
No.
So once again, I'm going to remind everybody on the left, particularly government figures, the purpose of the military is to break things and kill people. That's their only job. Break things, kill people, and support the effort to break things and kill people. Respecting pronouns does not improve that in any way. And anything that does not serve that mission is useless and should not be part of the military.
Well, and I always, go back to, talking about the oath of enlistment.
Yep.
We raised our right hand and we said, we solemnly swear to defend the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yep. There's a reason that part's in there.
There's a reason, and I think that's forgotten or glazed over or whatever the case may be.
Yep. Absolutely true. Yeah. The one thing that really gets me is yes, exactly. A Marine is not trained. Police officers are trained to use deadly force as a last resort. A Marine is trained to use deadly force as a first resort.
Yeah.
Okay. If possible, after the fact, we will take prisoners.
Marines are great for exactly what they were designed for, which is, insertion, into land. They're the Navy's fighting force,
Break things and kill people. Break things, kill people, and then eat crayons.
What are they? Honestly, they're the amalgamation of the Navy and the Army. They said, what if we took the Army and put them at sea, and made them amphibious,
And we even when I was on active duty, the Coast Guard was part of the Department of Treasury. Now they're part of DOD again. And now we also have Space Force. So that's 4, 5, 6 branches of the military now.
Yeah.
And that takes some getting used to, but I can't get over Yeah, that's exactly right. And that quote, of course, comes from George Patton, Third Army. Says,
Absolutely.
Don't die for your country. You make that other son of a bitch die for his.
Die for his.
But the Marines that I served with, I think of those guys: Staff Sergeant Wantello, Master Sergeant Huffmaster, Gunny Aiello. I'm thinking of all you guys. Sergeant House, that guy was a tank. I think of those guys. They were rock hard, fierce Vietnam veterans. And remember, the Marine Corps was all volunteer. There were no draftees going into Vietnam in the Marine Corps. These guys were combat hardened, bricks of steel discipline. And I imagine them with some soy infested huffalump in uniform coming in and going, today we're going to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion and respecting pronouns. That person wouldn't have got out of that room alive. They'd have been beat to death. I'm just saying.
In Minecraft.
Hyperbole. I'm exaggerating. They would have just gotten, beaten within an inch of their life.
No blanket party, no big deal.
It just it didn't happen. And keep in mind, this was the height of the Cold War, when there were 10,000 nuclear warheads pointed at us, and we were on an at-war footing. The Navy operates at an at-war footing at all times. We don't go out and train. The Navy doesn't train against blue forces the way the Army and even the Marines do, or the Air Force does. They routinely conduct their operations against real enemies at sea. Our submarines are tracking their submarines. Our battle groups are following their battle groups, so there was zero room for any of that bullshit that went on back then. And we were facing down the greatest existential threat to humanity the world has ever known. It wasn't the Nazis. They're number two. Number one was the Soviet Union. And we won the Cold War. Not by being these weak ass, low testosterone pussies that are running the world now. Sorry.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that. And it's funny you mentioned that because, like, if you look at China, for example, and you look at their propaganda for their military and whatnot, they got guys out there doing basically budge training, doing dive bombers into the water, shirtless, 6-pack abs ripped. It shows young men being men, and they promote that. And then you look at America's. And then granted, it's changed over the last year I've seen. But the Army had its failed, diversity, inclusion, whatever, type thing. And it failed, miserably. And then they went back to showing, they went back to showing people going to war and firing guns.
Right. Now there was a study. What's General Milley ordered a force-wide examination of all the military to root out the racism that he believed was there, and they found none. There's no racism in the military. But keep in mind what happened. He basically accused, if you're white and you're in the military, then you're a racist. And you wonder why Middle America and the South, which is where all the military comes from, didn't want to enlist anymore.
Oh, it's crazy, A common and very old Dutch saying is very roughly translated. Cobbler, stick with your trade. This comes to mind.
Make shoes, make shoes.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Brianna.
If your job is to kill people, well, go get good at it.
Doc's dying right now.
The hay fever is killing me.
'Tis the season.
I cut grass yesterday, and it was high because we had, since the last time I cut, it just rained and rained and rained, and the grass just grew and grew and grew. And you can't go cut wet grass. All it does is knock it down and dull your blades. So I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for a dry day to cut. Finally got some dry weather, went out there and cut. And oh my God, the hay fever is killing me. So yeah, anyway, that was a bridge too far for me. That coming after the kids.
Yeah. People, what else to say?
The best there is at what I do. And what I do isn't very nice.
Very nice.
Okay, Wolverine.
All right. I like it.
Yeah, it's not the job of the military to be nice, considerate of your feelings, blah 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 blah. That's not. No, that's not the job. But this particular weird faction of the left, which is anti-American, anti-traditional, anti-conservative, has pushed as far as they're able to go, and that pendulum is swinging back in the other direction. But we cannot get complacent. You got to have these conversations around the dinner table with your loved ones. Some of them may be too far gone. They will be so indoctrinated they're never gonna hear a word you say, not because you're wrong, but because they're intolerant and they won't listen.
Well, and I think that's funny because I got friends that are on the opposite aisle, side of the aisle, and but I got friends that are, and family, that are willing to listen, and
right.
I love that. We can actually have a debate, of mutual free thinking individuals,
right.
And then at the end of the day, agree to disagree, laugh it off and stuff like that. But I do have I have friends and family on that opposite side of the left where, they're like, oh, if you're, if you're a Republican, then, you don't respect nothing. And I'm like, well, are you really are you doing the same thing that you're accusing, the other side of doing? And that, I scratch my
correct.
I scratch my head a little bit, when they're like, you're intolerant. And I'm like, so are you.
I was having a discussion with somebody in our community here. I won't name names.
Yeah.
But the Socratic method always reduces things down into their most basic terms. So I was saying it's either this or this. And he literally said, I resent being made to choose between those two. I said, cool, give me that third option then. Well, I don't. No. It's A or B, or I'm not seeing the C, so provide the C. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and pick A or B. Which is it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time for that kind of willful ignorance. Willful ignorance is a biblical phrase, by the way, that translates to dumb on purpose. You chose to be dumb.
If they're about to say that.
Wait a minute, let me back up.
Oh.
Yeah, how about this? All right, we're on YouTube. Can't say the R word. You can't mention that thing that happened a few years ago that we got locked down for. That wasn't all that bad. It was bad, but it wasn't
bad.
But it wasn't totalitarian necessary bad, which is what they did. You can't talk about that. You can't mention that there may have been a few irregularities in the last presidential election. You can't mention that because there are literally people running this platform who think words cause physical harm. And I asked that question on my Facebook page, and I've got well over 1,000 followers over on Facebook. Does anyone actually believe that words that hurt your feelings are something that justifies you using violence? Because if words are violence, that's the same as if I say to Tanner something he doesn't like and he perceives that as violence, then wouldn't you bust somebody in the eye if they hit you first? Well, if my words are violence, that means you've got no choice but to come at me.
I wonder why people are so hesitant to question things nowadays. You know, that boggles my mind. You know, we used to question things. You know, and when you were in school, you learn a lesson, and then the teacher asked, "Do you have any questions?" You know, or they would say things like, "The only stupid question is the question not asked." Nowadays, you know, it seems like it's a little different. You know?
It's not so true anymore. Yeah, science is supposed to be all about questioning everything. Everything. But then to come out and say the science is settled. No, science is never settled.
No.
Ever. Ever. Even the laws of thermodynamics have exceptions, because exceptions prove rules. They don't disprove the rules. But you're supposed to ask questions, and you should ask questions. God in the Bible says, "Come, let us reason together." He's inviting you to come and have that discourse with him. All right. Our Constitution is set up that it's not the end all be all. It says there's a way to amend this thing, and here's how you do it. Every reasonable and right thinking human being encourages conversation and differing opinions. It is only the vapid and no foundation people that don't want to have those conversations, that want to censor speech. They want you to just shut up. Don't come at me with your facts. Orange man bad. Whee! Come on, man. Yes, exactly, Knight. Exactly.
I'm reminded of that comic book legal defense fund promo poster that Frank Miller did with the little girl with the bandages over the eyes and the ears, and then the hands about ready to put it over the mouth. And he was talking about fighting censorship.
Yes.
Yes. Where are those guys today? Yes. I'm gonna talk. I get it. And the reason why I bring this up, I didn't have a great moments in comic history. I got in late last night. Just didn't have time for it.
Right.
However, but speaking my piece and kind of pulling everything full circle with what we were talking about. That's what I was saying. You had that in comics. You had the rebel rousers. You had Denny O'Neil. Back in the '60s on Green Arrow and Green Lantern. Talking about things that were in counterculture. Counterculture was just that. It was against the culture. It was fighting the power. It was fighting, what people perceived as, something, not right, not just, not,
Did you ever think it would be Republicans that were the counterculture?
No, never would have thought in a million years.
What a freaking flip that is. If I went back in time in a time traveling VW minivan, microbus, and loaded up some hippies and brought them to today, they would freak the hell out.
I am freaking the hell out.
that their side of the aisle is the ones that want to cancel free speech.
I'm standing.
Yeah, when did conformity become the norm?
I'm standing here in the same place that I was when I was 25 years old, and the ground has moved so fucking far away from me, dude.
Well, that's one of the things we talk about, Pops, frequently. Mm-hmm. I am a hardcore Ronald Reagan, ultra-conservative Republican, constitutional conservative, and Pops is a dirtbag hippie. But we agree on almost everything because we were old enough to have lived through it all and see how everything changed. And Tanner ain't far behind. Yes, I'm a constitutional conservative.
Yes.
We do not live in a democracy, boys and girls, in case you didn't know.
We live in a republic.
That's right. A constitutional republic.
Woo!
Thank God I'm not in the UK right now. So far, I've seen posts of 6 different incidences in the UK where people are having their doors kicked in and being arrested for Facebook posts. Random Rick Reviews says, "Hey Doc, anyone ever tell you sound a bit like Paul Orndorff? no offense, voice just reminded me of his. I don't know who that is. Who is Paul Orndorff?
Wasn't he a wrestler?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look.
Wasn't he a wrestler?
I have Google. I will look this up.
No. Pops, find a clip on YouTube of Paul Orndorff.
Okay.
Talking, and we'll give it a listen.
Everything.
Okay, 80s WWF wrestler. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
and I knew that.
Levi. What's up? I'm just asking the questions.
I knew that name sounded familiar. I had to.
God, about this thing called gravity. I love it. Very practical. Can even be fun. But why have you made it my weak spot? Hey, old Levi. Good to see you. Levi did a illustration for the novella, A Damn Dirty Thing.
Wow.
It looks great. I can't wait to see it in print.
Very nice.
I've got one coming from James Lee, one coming from Stephen Brown, and you're supposed to be doing one too, Tanner. I don't know if you remember.
Wow, I dropped the ball on that one.
Fucker.
It's okay.
If you can get it done by Friday, get it to me.
Actually, I can do that. I will have one in hand.
Okay.
I got you one.
All right. Bring it up. Is him talking? I got to hear this. Here we go.
All right. Let me get this. Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Well,
Best athlete to ever come out of the state of Florida.
Nicknamed Mr. Wonderful.
Get excited, Doc. Let me hear.
I can't move like that. I'll die.
The greatest athlete to ever come out of the state of Florida.
Nicknamed Mr. Wonderful.
The greatest athlete ever to come out of the state of Florida.
Roddy Piper. The duo.
What's up, Levi? What's happening?
Always good to see Levi. So we're about ready to wrap the show, and I'm not going to apologize if I offended anyone, because I hope I did. If you're on that side, I hope I offended you, but I also hope I made you think for a moment, and I hope that you'll be willing to actually listen and don't be so intolerant of ideas. You want to be tolerant of every ideology out there, but you don't want to be tolerant of ideas. I hope you become so.
I just want you to vote with your wallet. Look at where you were and look at where you are. Look at your 401k. Look at where your money goes. Vote with your wallet.
And remember, I'll respect you if you respect me.
I will treat you as nicely as you allow me to. However, I'm going to say this real quick. If you're on this side of the aisle, make sure you vote. Make sure you have these conversations. Get the word out there. Don't let any of your right-leaning friends sit this one out. It's too important. All right. Even if you're in a red state, go vote. All right. Go vote.
I got a little something else for you, too. If you're in a small red county, go talk to your county clerk and tell them. They're going to be waiting to see how many votes they need. The red counties in November, don't turn in your ballot count until after all the blue counties have reported in. Wait them out.
Make it too big to rig.
Wait them out. Just don't allow them to come in at 3 a.m. and drop just enough ballots to win.
Yeah.
Wait them out. Make them turn in their ballots first.
Pennsylvania is already pre-gaslighting by saying, folks, don't be alarmed. If you don't see the results immediately, it takes us a while to count. Florida has a bigger population and they count the same night. Don't let them lie. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to say. Hey, Hen, good to see you. You're late. I'm going to say this. I'm not endorsing or what's the word I'm looking for here? Condoning everything that Steven Crowder does. But Steven Crowder has a live stream on election night on Rumble because YouTube is never going to let it happen. They have poll watchers in every swing state and in every capital across America, and they are going to be filming live. And if there's any kind of shenanigans going on, they're going to film it. They have reporters on the scene. They're going to get in people's faces and ask them what the hell is going on. So this will be the most closely watched.
Well, if Stephen Crowder
and by the way, Crowder has the largest viewing audience of anybody on the right.
And if Stephen Crowder would get behind this and make it a nationwide campaign for red counties to wait the blue counties out, it'll be a different election, I promise you.
Yeah. And it's okay. You know what? A typical normal left-leaning person might say, I think a slightly higher corporate tax rate is beneficial. And we could have that discussion. Not, I can't give you the definition of a woman because I don't have a degree in medicine. That's the left today. All right. So, yeah, if you're the old school left, you're right today.
Yep. Brianna hung out with us for a year. Look what happened.
I grew up in a conservative family with, left-leaning views and everything like that. Typical Michigan, Democratic, leaning family and whatnot. And I had liberal views. I think a lot of people, everyone, has, I think liberal views of some, nature part or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. I disagree strongly with my Republican friends on a couple of issues. And I'm not going to go into them on this show, maybe on another one. But I mean, so much so that I'm on the side of the Democrats on a particular issue.
That's why I always say if the pendulum's down here, doing this, I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's when it goes way up here or way up here that we have a fucking problem.
Well, I had the same situation that you had, Pops, where my views never changed. But overnight, I seemingly became, oh, you're a conservative Republican. You're what's wrong with America. And, I was like, whoa.
It's like, wait a minute, free speech, 2A, these are all the same things that I valued when I was 25.
Yeah.
And I was a liberal.
Oddly enough, that's the shit our founding fathers were all about.
That's because I'm a constitutionalist, bro. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I am a constitutionalist. I read the shit. I look and see, what does it say about that?
Same.
But what does it say about that?
So, boys and girls, the moral of the story is be sure you vote and encourage everyone you know on the right to vote. And talk to your left-leaning friends. If they're reasonable human beings, they'll see the truth. If they're not reasonable human beings, well, that happens.
Say it. Read it, learn it, know it.
All right.
Add the Bill of Rights in there too, because this protects.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap things up. Did we play all of our trailers, Pops?
Oh no, I got.
All right, play us out of here with the rest of these. In the meantime, I'm Doc Blalock. I'm the writer and artist behind A Damn Dirty Thing and Pariah Blood and Mud and the forthcoming Pariah Sanctum of Hate. You're not going to want to miss that one. The sign-up page is not far off in the future. Start promoting that here pretty soon. We're here every week on the Madness Network and on my channel, Doc Blalock. I'm the only Doc Blalock on YouTube. There is a Dr. Blalock, but he's going to try to push you a bunch of vitamins and supplements. Tell him to piss off and subscribe to my channel. You can find me on Twitter, Doc Blalock 8404. Follow me over there. Tanner is my co-host.
You can find me here on the Madness. You can find me on the social medias under Tanner Hurley. There's no blue check or anything. So, you got to sift through, look for the guy wearing the hockey jersey and has a little Yeti, Bigfoot stuffed animal. Yeah. That's me.
He hasn't quite become Southern enough to wear a football jersey, but we'll get him there. Pops, where can people find you?
Oh, well, I could say what Q always says, find me here. Network. But what can I tell you? It's good to see everybody Fanta, how dear, Random Rick. I just now realized that you didn't have a wrench. Now you do. And just like I tell everybody else, when you're one of us, when you're part of this network, you got friends that got campaigns. You see us live. I don't care what show it is. Over there in the chat, that's why you got that wrench. Drop them links for your own campaigns, for your friends' campaigns, for your shows, whatever. This is a promotional and networking platform.
If you're on my YouTube channel, my philosophy is pretty close to the same. Everybody gets a wrench until you give me a reason to take it away. Drop your links. All right. On that note, Pops, play us out of here.
Oh, hey, I see.
Peace out, everybody.
We got a whole bunch of stuff, Doc.
Do it.
Oh, we got new ones. Okay. Go on with the newest. Check
all
this
of them.
one out, people.
Space. A vast, dark void in need of exploration. Yeah, right! Space isn't about exploring, it's about getting rich. What's the fastest way to get rich? By collecting the splinters of Yggdrasil for glorious bounty. Too bad it's also the quickest way to get dead. Join Mistress Craven and her crew of scantily clad scoundrels as they sail the stars in search of the splinters of Yggdrasil. Magic, mayhem, and miniskirts in space. Go to abochrysly.com to learn more. See you soon, matey.
How do you end this thing? How do you put the where's the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz hands. Jazz hands and brakes.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm tired of talking to you.
And don't think it hasn't been a little slice of heaven, because it hasn't.
Well, what do you know? I finally got the last word.